Hi, welcome to the Art of Shame-Free Living podcast. So last week I did a webinar. I did 2 days of manifestation, and I had decided about a week ago I just really wanted to teach something about manifestation. And it was very information heavy. I had a whole bunch of info in there, but I want to give you a little 5-minute recap of just the moments that I felt were really potent and important and might help you with your own manifestation practice. So what I believe manifestation is believing something that I don't yet see evidence for in my life. I don't see that it's concrete yet, and I'm believing it into reality. This can be in my relationships. I've talked a lot about breathing beliefs into kids in my past podcast, the Parenting Coach podcast. You can go listen to those, and how it changed my relationship with my kids and also changed their behavior. I obviously can't jump into somebody else's brain and change their thoughts and feelings and actions, but I do have a lot of influence over that in ways that are maybe a little different than what I think. And so we can manifest things in relationships. We can manifest more money. We can manifest a book. We can manifest whatever it is that we want. So we started by asking ourselves, what do we desire? And we did a little exercise where for 2 minutes straight, you're just writing down every single thing you desire. And even this practice itself can be really powerful because we often don't let ourselves really just dream or play or imagine like what might be possible, what might be really cool. And as we did that, that already itself was really helpful. You can take that a level deeper or a level higher, I guess, and you can ask yourself, what would be even better than that? Sometimes I ask myself that a few times. Then I'm going to do another thought dump. Then I'm going to ask myself, what's even better than that? What if it could be more? What if it could be in less time? What if it could be easier? How could this even be better? And that helps get me into the energy of manifestation. And really, manifestation is all about energy. So whatever I can do to kind of be shifting that energy. The other piece I'll mention here is that it's going to bring up some like negative, hard, heavy stuff. And that stuff is actually part of it too. That unbelief is part of the work. We don't want to skip over that part. So manifestation. So I had them write down all their desires. And then the first thing we talked about was wounded desires. A wounded desire is a desire that I have because somebody else maybe gave it to me. Maybe my parents really wanted something from me, and so I did that. Maybe I always wanted something in childhood and I never got it. And so now I'm trying to create that for myself now, even though it might not be a true desire for me. Wounded desires also can be ones where I really feel like I want to achieve it so that I can finally be enough, so that I can finally feel good, so that I can finally feel something inside that I feel like I'm missing. So we went through and we kind of underlined, and a lot of those times desires will pop up that we're like, wait, a lot of our desires are wounded. So now what? If we have a wounded desire, the problem is we're going to keep it at arm's length. No matter what we're trying to manifest, we'll never be able to fully manifest it. Or even if it does happen, we're not going to feel like we manifested. We're not going to feel any better at all. We need to manifest from abundance, from having, from feeling the fullness, from focusing on the gain, not on the gap, which is what our brain usually goes to. So part of this work is really cleaning up those wounds, cleaning up those desires so that we can decide, is this really something I desire or not? Once I've cleaned up my wounding, which I'll talk about in a minute, once I've cleaned up my wounding, then it's open for me to release that desire if it doesn't feel aligned, or to know that if the desire is in me, it's for me. If that desire is still there after I've done that cleanup work, then it's absolutely for me. And then I can work on manifesting the thing. So if you're sitting here wondering, which this got asked a couple of times in the workshops, how do I actually do this then? If I've noticed that a lot of these are coming from wounding, what do I do? That work is going to be, what part of me am I attaching to this thing? How is it going to change my perceived worth or value? Why do I want that thing? Because when my worth or value is outside of myself on this future thing that I want, it's not within me. And that is the power of creation. That's the power of manifestation. So I can ask myself questions like, where did this come from? What might I believe or feel in the future that I don't right now? Like, how do I feel like there's something missing? Is this coming maybe from a past pattern in childhood? There's lots of questions, deepening questions I can ask myself as I journal, as I sit, as I process, as I feel. I would also go back to some of my episodes around subconscious practice for inner child healing and to process emotions. I would start with those ones and sit and feel through things and see how you feel at the end. Another piece we talked about was congruent action. So once I'm feeling good about my manifestation or about my desire, and I'm like, yes, it does feel in me, this feels good, then I'm going to go forward with intuition. Intuition is going to teach me the next small step. It's going to give me the next little breadcrumb. You know, Hansel and Gretel's story of the fairy tale of the breadcrumbs. Let's get to the next breadcrumb, and then I find the next breadcrumb, and then I find the next breadcrumb. Intuition doesn't often give me more than just a tiny glimpse into the future. It doesn't usually give me the full picture. Typically, because it's the most growing experience for us, it's going to give us the next small step. So just knowing that congruent action will come as I'm cleaning up everything within me, as I'm feeling good about my manifestation or my desire, that intuition will come. When I'm in my brain, I'm thinking a lot, I'm expending a lot of energy, I'm writing down pro and cons list, I'm worried about it, I'm asking other people for their opinion. I'm not in my intuitive, congruent action space. So part of that is just moving through that emotion again and moving back into that intuitive, congruent space. Another piece we talked about was dropping the timing and dropping the how. I don't have to know how. I don't have to be in my logical brain trying to figure it out. If I'm in that space, I'm actually in unbelief. I'm actually not believing that it's possible for me. And same with timing. Timing is a funny thing. It's like sometimes putting a timeline on something puts a lot of pressure on us. So we can use that as a way to move through it. Okay, I'm going to put a timeline on this manifestation. And then I notice that I have a lot of emotional activation coming up. Well, that's a lot of juicy stuff I can move through that can be helpful for me. Or I can drop the timeline completely and I can just let it happen whenever it wants to happen. A coaching friend of mine, Amber Smith, I went to a program called Kairos with her, and she talked about how Kairos and Chronos are two different words for time in Greek. And Chronos timing is logical or linear time, and Kairos timing is divine timing. It's aligned timing. It's things just working out in the way and the time that they need to. And so when I think of manifestation, I think of Kairos time. When I look back on things, even when they didn't turn out in the way and time that I wanted them to, they turned out even better. They turned out in a better way that actually was so needed. And so we don't want to be the ones controlling all of that. We just want to release and surrender into however that works out, knowing that it will be for our good. We also talked about a few principles of manifestation, one being reciprocity. What's good for me is good for the world. What's good for the world is going to be good for me. It's better for me. As I'm manifesting, I'm recognizing I'm actually becoming more me. It's good for me. It's good for the world. Also, what I notice about manifestation is that it makes me more loving. It makes me more of who I actually am. It makes me a more loving human, a more abundant human, a more generous human. It blesses the community. It blesses my family. It blesses others. Okay, that's all I'm going to say because there's a million things I could say about manifestation, but there's your short little snippet of manifestation. And we also talked about how money is a mirror. Money is a mirror that's showing us something about us, something that needs to be cleared up. It can be more than money. Our partners can be a mirror. That person in your life you're really struggling with right now, they can be a mirror. They can be showing you something about you, some part that we need to dig into and look at and see what's there. So if you're interested in that, come join my program. We are starting tomorrow. It's called Money is a Mirror. We'll probably have it open the whole time. It's a 6-week program, but all of the calls are recorded. So even if you're listening to this after the fact, it will still be available for you to purchase and work through on your own. And it's all going to be around money as a mirror. How can I get comfortable and more relaxed around money? And it's not the amount of money that makes us uncomfortable about money. We think that if we had more money, we'd feel more comfortable around money. But the truth is, it's not about the amount of money. It's about what it's bringing up in us. So I had somebody ask me, can I do my husband as a mirror? And I was like, yes, you can. You can use anything. What I'm going to be teaching, the principles I'm going to be teaching can work for your body. They can work for your partner. This is also open to men and women. I don't often have programs like this where they're co-ed. It's going to be so fun. If you're signing up, you can also bring your partner along. You don't even have to sign them up. They can just join, and we will see you there. If you are feeling that little niggling, come and join us. See you soon.